been looking for you this whole life long. Every other lover had done me wrong. You'd think I'd have been hopeless.
Guys, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to speak to you all about a topic that I really love. Last year I got married to a lovely Italian man in our favorite city in the world, Rome. As I was planning the wedding, there were a lot of things that came up that I felt would be really handy for other people to know. We didn't have a wedding planner. We did literally every single thing, from designing the invitations to designing little bags for the church, and literally everything ourselves. So we were also in the middle of finishing renovations in our house, and 3 o'clock in the morning I was hanging curtains in our house just before my family all arrived. So it was a week before the wedding that we'd finished this, and then we had all the family come all at once. So it was full on for people so they can relate to my scenario. I've married an Italian citizen and I'm an Australian, and I've married him over in Italy, but I've wanted to make sure I'm able to in the future live in Australia or live in Italy. This sort of planning had been going on for a year prior to the wedding. The first thing is first, I really wanted to get married in a Catholic church. I'd always gone to Catholic school. You could say I was pretty much Catholic. And I really, really, really wanted to get married in one of those beautiful, ornate churches, Italian churches. I mean, how could you not when you're in Italy? They're just so historic and wonderful and grand. You know, I really wanted a grand wedding, and a grand wedding I got. The first thing that I needed to do, and this is when I was engaged and I sort of knew that we wanted to get married. It was pretty serious. I started the process of becoming a Catholic because I'd never been baptized. So in Adelaide, that's where I'm from originally, I started to go through the process of baptism. That isn't a quick process. That took minimum 3 months, and that was rushed. It usually takes 6 months, but they sort of sped it up because we were getting married quite soon after that. So that took up a lot of time, but we got that done in preparation so I could get married in the church. I had to go to couple classes, so we went in Puglia, where my husband's from, and we went to the church there and we did these classes. Again, we kind of was fortunate enough to get ours sped up a little bit. You know, they're understanding the time limit, and being in different countries as well, you don't have as much time to sort of slowly go through these as two Italians would in Italy that live there.
Please me.
To get married in church is free, and they can't ask you really for money, but they kind of expect a donation. Usually they want a donation of around €500. It's a lot of money, and I was quite shocked to learn that we would have to give them a big donation. Yeah, it's just something I never sort of added into the cost of things. I just didn't even cross my mind. The other thing I didn't know, when you put floral decorations behind the altar, they actually want to keep them. And of course, when you, I don't know, some people do it like this, but when you do put the flowers in the church, sometimes you can take those flowers to reuse them and not to waste them, and put them into the reception venue. So you need to count how many floral decorations you have. That'll be enough to refit onto the tables, because in the church you have to leave them. We got told this from the florist, so we said to her, okay, do some floral decorations to leave behind the altar for the church as a gift to the church, and then, you know, we need some extra ones for the reception venue. Anyway, on the day she didn't do the extra ones for the altar. So if we had to leave those flowers there, some of our tables would have missed flowers. And of course on the day, it's too late. This was very stressful, and this actually upset, not our priest, he was such a chiller, he was amazing. It really upset the people who worked in the church there. So that was really stressful on the day because my husband was there sort of arguing in the church about the flowers, saying, well, we actually need them for tonight's dinner. We're happy to return them to you after so you can use them the next day. You just have to really be aware that there are a lot of things that can really rip you off and put your costs up, and you kind of have to call around and get a lot of quotes for things before you go out and book somebody, because maybe she's saying to you, oh, this is going to cost like $30,000-$40,000 in flowers, and somebody else has quoted you $5,000. Like, it's a significant price difference, and you need to look at why is that price difference so much, and is it worth it when somebody else maybe could do the same job for a lot cheaper.
No trials, but we work it out when
Planning is not just for the day, but you've got so much other planning with the destination wedding that you need to do way before the day. Like, you need to get all those documents ready and prepared. Getting all this stuff organized in Italy. Italy is the most stressful place to go to an office and get documents, because it just works so much differently to Australia. Australia, it's so simple. You go to the office, you get it signed, boom, 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 done. In Italy, it's you got to go get a ticket here, and then you've got to go line up here, but you've had to book the appointment there, and it is fucking crazy, if I can say. All those things, we needed a lot of time. I was in Italy a month before the wedding, only to get all these documents ready. So there's a lot to do. Also to make sure you go to the church to do your rehearsals. I had to find a priest. I had pretty much the rehearsals and went through like the process of what we wanted said in church and what our vows wanted to be. There's a few different options. So we both come from small families. Mine's actually bigger than his. It's hard to believe. Italian families are usually huge. To find a wedding venue that was suitable for what we wanted, we went around to a lot of places, and there was this venue and it was stunning. It was absolutely beautiful. There was these green grassed hills rolling up to this beautiful private villa on top of Rome. You could see everything. You could see the Vatican and the Colosseum, and we sort of obsessed over it. We really wanted to get married there. But when we went to the venue, I sort of thought, we had a small wedding of 60 guests, and I just thought they're gonna get lost in somewhere like this. The place, as gorgeous as it was empty. It was kind of feels cold, and it gives that sort of vibe of not being really comfortable and warm and cozy, and I'm that type of person. I really like to be warm, and I just felt like it was just really stark, and that's not the vibe I wanted for the wedding. I really wanted it to just feel romantic and warm and as good as possible. We've got 60 guests. You imagine you want to keep them all sort of in one area, so you feel full, like you don't want them sort of wandering off to check out the venue and then, your room's empty and you've got no guests. I thought in order to make this place really spectacular, you would have to put lots and lots of flowers. And I guess if you're having a huge wedding, this venue would have been perfect for 300 guests, and it's not worth spending all that money on so many flowers. And all the guests are going to be disappearing, and so we kind of ruled that out. As beautiful as it was, it just didn't suit us. We then decided if we can find somewhere that's a little bit more compact. We stumbled across one night, me and my mum, this venue, and I just said, oh my God, it is just unreal. Like, it's just stunning. This is the place we're getting married. Out of all the hotels in all of Rome, this was by far the most beautiful place ever. It was just amazing. And the other one that we did look at, it wasn't right, as beautiful as it was. I feel like this one was so much nicer.
get lost where no one can find
when you try on your wedding dress, I was so sure. I tried on my dress and I said, this dress is me. This is just solely me in a dress, and I just love it, and I feel comfortable and I feel beautiful, and you know, all the emotions you want as a bride. And I was really sure. I didn't have a doubt in my mind. And I thought it was really important to take photos because I was going back to Australia and I wanted to look at the dress, see myself in it before the wedding. And I remember being in Australia and looking at all these other people's weddings and thinking, oh my God, is my dress too simple? I was really, really worried that it's boring and it wasn't grand enough and it wasn't sparkly enough, and I started really doubting myself because I was looking at other people's dresses. I was just comparing myself, and I knew deep down inside, you know, I shouldn't compare myself because we're all different, and just because somebody has this super sparkly dress doesn't mean that my dress is not as beautiful. My dress was stunning. And I had to remind myself, like, don't compare yourself to other people, because sometimes less is more. And I remember I went, after I chose my dress, I was just trying to find accessories, and I went into Pronovius near the Spanish Steps. And there was this guy in there, and I said, oh, I'm just trying to find some accessories to go with my dress. And I remember him saying, oh, can I see a photo of your dress? And I was all excited because I really loved it. And I showed him a photo and he goes, oh, that's plain. That kills you inside when somebody says those types of things to you. I don't know if he was being a bitch because I didn't buy a dress from him and I bought a dress from their competitor up the road, but I was just really insulted. I know that the style these days is everybody goes all out there and, you know, beads the whole dress or whatever, but I just didn't feel like it was me. And yeah, you can all make up your mind about if my dress was too plain or what, but I think it was perfect. And now I look back at it and I wouldn't change anything. And I've learned to never ever compare yourself to other people, because your style and your taste is different to other people.
We don't need much, just
We forgot to mention this in the video. This was a major thing, like coming from Australia, and I feel like Americans would have the same thing. Our way of doing makeup is more advanced. Don't look at mine because I can't do my own makeup. But I just feel like when you go and get your makeup done, you know, in Australia and United States, our style is a little bit different to in Italy. In Italy, I feel like they're more natural. They're a little bit more old school when they do your makeup. My first experience, I had a hairdresser that I always did my color with over in Italy, and he's fantastic. He said, don't worry, I know a makeup artist that can do your makeup. He's really good. You know, he works in this luxury hair salon where I work, and you know, he does all the VIPs and whatever. Anyway, he'd come to my house and he did my makeup, and he came with the smallest amount of product. Good products, but a very small amount. And I told him, I don't want heavy, dark makeup. I want to feel light and youthful, and yeah, I just really want to feel bridal. Anyway, he did half a face with one style of makeup and the other side of my face with the other style. On both eyes, they were really heavy eyeshadowed, like thick, dark makeup. I felt muddy. He had put, instead of doing like bronzer and then a little bit of like blush, he had done blush all on my cheeks, blush everywhere. And I looked at myself and I just felt sick. It was maybe a week before my wedding, and I thought, you know, yeah, this will be no problem, you know, this makeup artist will be fine. And I remember getting them to take a photo and a video for me so I could sort of check out the makeup, and I just felt so sick. I said, oh, look, you know, it's not really how I want it. Can we try it again? And he pretty much wiped it off and redid it, and it was just as bad. And he left, and I just thought to myself, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. You know, I don't have a makeup artist, and this is stressing me out. Anyway, I was on Instagram, and I love Instagram. It's just amazing because you find so many talented artists on there. And I stumbled across, accidentally, to see him. He worked for MAC, and he was at the Spanish Steps, and I went to go see him. I think he could see how stressed I was. He did my makeup trial, and I just said to him, "You are an angel. You have done my makeup perfectly." Like, I was so relieved and so happy. Like, I felt like crying. I said, "Please, can you do my makeup for my wedding next week? I don't know how busy you are." He was luckily free. Like, this guy's so busy all the time. He came and he did my bridal makeup, and he did my mum and my mother-in-law and my bridesmaid, and their makeup was perfect. And I was so happy and relieved. Like, it's stressful to think you've got a week before your wedding and your makeup, the person who did your makeup was really bad. Lucky that I found Stefano. It was like a godsend. And I have recommendations. Like, Stefano for a makeup artist was amazing. And I did notice on his Instagram, the reason why I chose him is that I could see he did some Americans and some sort of other people from overseas. He's done their makeup, and I could see that the technique was what I wanted, and he just hit the nail on the head. Recommendations for people I've seen on Instagram, and florists and whatever. I can give you all these recommendations if that could help.
Nothing to lose because we don't
I
need
really didn't realize how important time was. I got married at 12 lunchtime, and I had the reception, I think, started at around 6, and I only had to walk to the church, but I was half an hour late. So you really need to think about time. Because I found that for photos, we had a driver, and he was taking us around to all the locations where we wanted photos. Little things happened on the day, like one place that we wanted photos at was closed off and we couldn't walk down there to take photos, so we had to go to a different location. Probably in the beginning had about 9 places I wanted to go around and take photos, and I really wanted the time to go to those places and get those shots. Like, I wanted to go near the Vatican, and I wanted to go near the river, and I wanted to go near the Colosseum, all these places. And then on the day we literally went to 2 spots, and that's it. And we just didn't have time, and then I ended up being quite stressed. I probably would have had the wedding in the morning and then the dinner at night time, and I would have had like most of the day to be able to go out and do your photos and retouch your hair and makeup, and make sure you're fresh for the reception, and then just find something for the guests to do in the middle, whether or not you do like a bus tour and you take them around on the bus, or you try to find something to entertain them in that period of time, or you just let them all sort of go home for a little bit so then they could freshen up after the ceremony at the church and then go out again for the dinner. I just feel like that would have given us more time for photos and would have been less stressful to try to have to like rush everything, because you can't go back in time and you can't slow down time to get those photos. So I'm never going to have photos near the Colosseum on my wedding day because I just didn't make the time for it. So I feel like that was really important.
Easy love, easy love.
Make sure you eat as well, because I thought to myself, yeah, I'm going to eat everything. But every time I sat down to eat, somebody would come and want to talk to you, which is normal. But like, I felt exhausted from the whole day. Like at lunchtime when I was getting before lunch when I was getting my makeup done, I hadn't really eaten anything. I hadn't drank. I definitely should have had more wine. I feel like I was just so busy entertaining that I forgot to like really enjoy all the food. There was so much food, it was just gluttony. I think we had like 6 courses or something crazy like that. I remember discussing with the florist, in the church, I wanted this long carpet to go from the start of the church to the end of the church, you know, where the altar is and where we will be sitting. And I thought, you know, it would be a nice idea. Little to my knowledge, that carpet is a killer. It is a bad idea. It is a mistake. And I don't know if any other brides have gone through the same thing as me, but please, if you do, write it in the comments below, because I do really want to know if anybody else has had the same experience. When I was walking down the aisle, because, you know, you imagine your A-line dress, underneath the satin is all tulle to kind of puff it out. And you've got your veil on your head and it's long and it's tulle. When I'm walking on this carpet, as much as I'm kicking my legs, and I could walk fine in the dress on a normal street, but on the carpet, my veil, the tulle under my dress was sticking to the carpet. So the carpet was like a felty type fabric, and it was sticking to the carpet. So I'm walking and I can just feel the veil pulling against my face. I can hardly move. You know, you've got your bouquet in your hands. It's fucking heavy. It is so heavy. I've got that in my hand. I've got my dad in my other hand. I'm thinking, what am I gonna do now? I really need to lift my dress up to walk on here, because I can't walk. It's just sticking. And the more I'm trying to push, it's just sticking to the carpet. And, you know, I remember thinking, oh my God, these flowers are heavy. And, you know, now I have to swap hands and try to pull up my dress and all this stuff. And I ended up just like rolling with it and holding the flowers and holding my dad and just like trying to walk on this carpet. And it was the initial shock of stepping on the carpet and not being able to move freely that really kind of was like an awkward moment, because, you know, you imagine you're walking in the church and you're gonna have this grand entrance and you're really like in there thinking, fuck, what do I do? I hope this is not obvious. I hope this doesn't look shit on the camera. Like, no. That is something that's the biggest thing about all of this video that I really wanted to get clear. Don't get the fucking carpet. Don't do it. Don't get your church lined with that carpet. Or maybe if you have a silky dress, it's fine. You don't have a long veil or whatever. But if you do have tulle, it will stick to that carpet and it will be uncomfortable. So, and now I regret it. I wish I just let the marble, because the marble was so beautiful in the church. I should have just shown the marble and just walked along that. Why did I need to put a carpet? I just thought it would look more pulled together with the carpet. But I totally regret it. And nobody had said anything like that to me. I don't think they knew that the carpet was awkward, you know, to walk on. But it really is. So yeah, totally think about the carpet. Don't do it.
Just easy.
With planning your own wedding, is that you've spent so much time and you know every intricate detail of the planning and how things need to run, because you've literally planned everything. You've got the whole wedding planned in your head and it's running out in front of your eyes, and things are happening and going wrong, and you're the one that's got to point these things out. That is a stress that I would have preferred not to have on the wedding, and I would have preferred to have somebody else doing that. So I was able to really relax and enjoy with my guests as much as possible, and I didn't have to think about anything. And if I could go back in time, I think I would have wanted that little bit of extra help, especially if you're a bit of a perfectionist. If you're more like casual and having a relaxed wedding and you really just, things go with the flow, you know, whatever. But when you're so intricate about everything, when things go wrong, it's really stressful. And I would have preferred somebody else to have to be doing that stuff and not me on my wedding day. Also, you needed somebody there to pay musicians, or, you know, people who put the fireworks there. So that's another thing you need to think about is a lot of things you don't always pay in advance, you pay on the day. It would have been helpful to write down exactly like who you need to pay on the night, and then maybe give somebody a task, somebody like even your bridesmaid or with somebody, especially if they're familiar with the language. It would be, you know, also little things like leaving from the house to go to the church. I'm stressing out. I'm not going to be sleeping there that night. Nobody's going to be in the house. I couldn't find my keys. I thought I'd locked myself out the house. I'd left the air conditioning and all the lights on. Yeah, just like little things. You need somebody that can sort of go and fix up all the loose ends.
Please me.
I feel like as much as you can verbalize what you want on your wedding day, things can really get changed around, and it's quite frustrating. For example, went to the florist, she showed us, I literally sent her photos of every flower that I wanted, and I showed her how I even drew a picture of how I wanted the flowers. And I went there to see the example that she made of it, and it was perfect. I said, oh, this is literally perfect, it's spot on, it's what I wanted, you know, let's do this. So I thought everything was all good. On the day, there was like some other greenery chucked in there. They were missing some flowers that I'd asked for. They weren't there. My bouquet was missing flowers that I specifically really wanted in my bouquet. They forgot my corsages, little bracelets. I really wanted my mum and Pierre's mum to have a little floral bracelet. And also my maids' bouquets were different. I'd asked for just a hydrangea, a white hydrangea, and on the day there was a hydrangea with a pink rose in it. And I never at all said that I wanted a pink rose in the floral arrangements. It's kind of like on the day they just did what they thought was nice. And as much as like I appreciate them for all the work they did, I don't appreciate them kind of changing what I wanted. Things were forgotten. So things like these little tiny things that you think, okay, no, the florist, she's got that, she knows she has to do that, I've given all that stuff to her. On the day, it's not there, and then I'm meant to be having fun and relaxing and enjoying my night with my photographer. She's a great photographer, there's no doubt about that. But I was really disappointed in the fact that there weren't many photos of my family. That's a massive deal, because it's one day, you know, you got your beautiful mum and dad all dressed up nicely, and your mother-in-law, they're, you know, looking their best, and then you don't have really many photos with them or of them. And that's stuff that I felt like I didn't have to verbalize, but obviously you need to be really clear. I also found it really important to seat your photographers and your videographers in the same room. I never thought about this. I obviously planned the reception for the guests, and I didn't think about where I'm going to put the photographer and videographer. That was a mistake, because I feel like there was moments in the night that if they were sitting inside the same room as us, they would have captured those moments on video. But because we had to have somebody run to them to say, hey, you need to try to come here to get this on camera. Like the speeches, they nearly missed our speeches. I just expect them to be there when we want them. But the thing is, you know, they need to have a break. They've been working all day and all night. So they need to sit down and eat something and relax for a little bit. And because they weren't in the room, they'd missed out on some moments. So make sure you seat your sort of staff inside the same room as the guests. Nothing beats getting married in Italy. As stressful as it is planning it, a lot of people who are from, you know, United States or Australia, for example, if they are getting married in Italy, I'm sure you're going to use a wedding planner, and you're probably not going to do it all yourself. You know, I thought I kind of had, you know, my partner, my husband, he's Italian, so I figured, you know, he can do a lot of the talking, which made it a lot easier. And I definitely wouldn't have been able to do it if I was by myself with another Australian. It would have been so hard to try to plan the wedding yourself, and there was no way it would have worked. I do really think it is important to use a wedding planner. I just liked the challenge, and I was really excited to plan my own wedding, and I'm glad I did, because I feel like I kind of I really did get what I wanted, and everything was, you feel so proud when you planned your whole wedding. You do. There's a sense of achievement when you've done it yourself. There is disappointment too when things don't go the way you want it, or people don't hear your ideas, but yeah, you definitely do feel so proud. Like, my heart just goes out to all you beautiful brides and grooms, brides and brides, or grooms and grooms that were meant to be getting married this year. I'm really sorry that this has happened, and I really couldn't have imagined how stressful it could be. The stress of planning your wedding is already a lot, and the stress of having to cancel and to postpone the wedding, it would be unbelievable. You know, I just feel sorry. I can imagine having, you know, your beautiful dress and then not being able to wear it, and having to wait and not being sure when you can have your wedding. You know, when will it be okay to travel again? And I just really, yeah, my heart just goes out to you, and I just really couldn't imagine how stressful it would be. I just feel like if you do have the opportunity to wait and to still go through with your destination wedding, it is so worth it. And even be able to use this extra year, or, you know, year and a half, to be able to plan the wedding more perfectly, and to be able to think about the things that I never got to think about because I was in a rush to get the wedding going, you know. And I just feel like use this time really to, you can watch my video. If you want, you can request more videos. I can definitely go into detail about certain topics. So definitely go and check out my wedding video. I'm gonna pop a link in the description box below, and I'm gonna pop a link at the end of this video, so you can just click on it and watch it. And I hope you love it as much as I love it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.